Welcome back to the Vegan Test Kitchen, everyone. Today we are making maple and brown sugar pinwheels, which really just sound like little cinnamon rolls to me without the cinnamon. There's some other spices in there. Sounds like a delicious little treat. We're putting some icing on top. So, as always, all the ingredients that you need are listed below. Let's get started. All right, now the first thing we're gonna do is warm up our soy milk and our margarine over medium heat. And while our margarine and soy milk are melting, we're gonna get 1/3 cup of warm water, because that's what we're gonna put our yeast into. You wanna make sure it's warm, not super hot, because you don't wanna kill your yeast. All right, we're just gonna use one of these 1/4 ounce packs. We're just gonna set this aside and let it foam up. Speaking of foam, it looks like our margarine's melted. We're gonna set this aside because we want it to become tepid. Because again, we don't want this to kill the yeast. We're gonna mix this in with the dough. All right, while everything is cooling and the yeast is activating, grab 3 large oranges. Give them a good scrub because we're going to grate and zest the peels. Now, all in all, we're gonna need 1 teaspoon of orange zest and then 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of grated orange rind. And they did specifically differentiate the two. All right, now we're gonna grab our large mixing bowl. And in this, we're gonna put 4 to 4.5 cups of either all-purpose flour, or you can use a whole wheat white flour, which is what I'm using. And into that, we're gonna mix our granulated sugar, cardamom, allspice, salt, and our teaspoon of grated orange zest. We're gonna mix this all really well, and then we're gonna form a well in the middle. And now we're gonna pour in our soy milk and margarine mixture, as well as our yeast. Do your thing. Now, if your dough happens to be too sticky, just keep adding flour, a tablespoon at a time, which is where the 4 to 4.5 cups comes in. Okay, I think we've got firm dough. So we're going to put this on a lightly floured countertop. Now we're going to need this for about 6 to 8 minutes. Getting my workout in today. All right, now that we have our dough, we're gonna get our bowl. Just put less than a teaspoon of whatever oil you want to use. We're gonna make sure that this is coated. All right, we're gonna put some saran wrap on it, another towel, then we're gonna let it do its thing for an hour. Let it rise. While our dough is proving, grab a couple baking sheets, get some parchment paper, and lightly grease them. Let's go ahead and get our tablespoon of orange juice. We're just gonna stick this in the same container as our 1 teaspoon of orange zest. One more thing we're gonna prep is our raisins. Just coarsely chop them. All right, it's been an hour, so let's check our dough. It's risen a little bit. It said when you touch it, it should be slow to come back. We're gonna go with this. All right, we're gonna lightly flour our workstation. We're gonna roll this into an 11 by 18 rectangle. We want this to be about 1/4 inch thick. We are at about 11 by 18. We're pretty much there. All right, now we're gonna combine 2 tablespoons of melted vegan margarine and maple syrup. Okay, what we're gonna do is leave about 2 inches on one of the ends, so on the long end, just free of anything, because that's gonna be the end that we roll up. All right, and so in this bowl, we're gonna combine our brown sugar, our 2 tablespoons of orange rind, and our chopped raisins. Mix this up real good. Now, by the way, these raisins are optional. You don't have to do it. I don't think I realized how much of a sweet overload this is gonna be. So we're gonna take this and sprinkle it on top. I'm gonna go ahead and brush this naked end with some soy milk. Just gonna be like a little, you know, sealer. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna roll this pretty tight, too. Almost like it's one big sushi roll. Okay. Now that we're seam side down, we're gonna take a knife and cut it up into 12 to 14 rolls. About 1.5 inch pieces. All right, we're gonna stick these on our greased sheets. Look at that, it's cute. All right, now we're gonna wrap these lightly in saran wrap, put a kitchen towel over it again, and we're gonna let these rise for about 30 to 40 minutes, if they will. Let's hope they do. While these are rising again, go ahead and set your oven to 350. All right, guys, it's been about 30 minutes. Let's see if anything's happened to these big bad boys. Honestly, I don't remember what they looked like before, so. They could have risen. Let's go ahead and say they did. They rose a little bit. So we are ready to stick these in the oven, but first, we're gonna brush the top, optional, of course, with some soy milk. I think they'll be nice and they'll have a nice color to them. We're gonna bake these for 25 to 30 minutes. We're gonna flip them halfway through just to make sure they're evenly cooked too. Fun fact! Baker's yeast is a member of the mushroom family, or the species Saccharomyces cerevisiae. I never took Latin, which is Latin for sugar fungus. And if that name didn't tip you off, and you're wondering exactly what yeast does, it loves eating sugar. Once it does, it excretes CO2 gas, causing the bread to puff up. All right, I think it's time to take them out. All right, these look pretty good. They are coming apart just a little bit. Somehow I think they're still gonna taste great. And they did give you one good tip, which is, as soon as they're out, flip them over and let the gooey side be on the top. All right, while these are cooling, we're gonna start on our icing. Let's sift a cup of confectioner's sugar. We're gonna cut into this 2 tablespoons of vegan margarine. Once again, that must be the magic number today for vegan margarine. Okay, now we're gonna whisk in our soy milk and our orange juice and orange rind. We're gonna let these cool for a few more minutes, then we'll put the icing on. So they need to be completely cool. Let's try it. So my first thought is this looks like a delicious cinnamon roll. This would make a lovely little like breakfast treat on the weekend. It's a pretty hearty dough. It's not like super dense, but it's great for a roll. That was probably because I used the whole wheat dough, or the whole wheat flour instead of the all-purpose flour. The icing has that delicious orange zest flavor to it. These are pretty good, y'all. Even if you're not like a huge raisin fan, I think you should throw them in here anyway because you really can't pick them out. They just add a nice flavor to it. I think these are great. I would probably make these again. They can get a little messy with the icing. All in all, this was a hit. All right, y'all, I'm happy with it. If you liked what you saw today, hit a thumbs up. I would love you for it. And make sure to share and comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. I will see you all next time.